This is why I believe you being vulnerable will actually get you more friends. It kind of sounds crazy, but it happened to me today, and I want you to be able to have more friends, especially in today where a lot more people are feeling lonely or not part of groups and are in need of a community. And so, let me tell you a story. I am currently in this class called Biblical Interpretations. And in the class, we were required to meet together in a group of 9 people and talk for an hour. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never really been, actually I've done this a few times by myself because I don't know, I'm weird. But not many people are going to be going out of their way to spend an hour with a group of 9 strangers. And our Biblical teacher said, let's do that. And the idea was to have deep conversations. So this isn't like an hour of, what's it called? What's like the back and forth talk? You know what I'm talking about. Not surface level talk. I mean, it kind of is. Small talk. That was supposed to be snap, but unfortunate, my fingers don't snap. And so not an hour of small tap. Not an hour of small talk, but a long hour of deep conversation. And so today we gathered. Everyone's a little bit like, hello, a little awkward. I'm not. I don't know why. I just genuinely don't care. I don't care enough to really care about their own opinions on me. Maybe that makes me a bad person. I see it as I only put my value in Christ, and I'll do my best to respect people and to be Christ-like. But I'm not going to let the opinion of Sally affect like the rest of my day. Name certain other people, maybe I'll let them affect the rest of my day. But you know what? I'm talking about strangers. We're not going to get into this. Anyways, we get together, we gather at a table, and I start the conversation. I'm like, okay, let's just do a quick introductory with like names and just talking about, I think we talked about, it was like table, it was if you could have dinner with 2 people dead or alive, what would it be? Or not who would it be? And so we just listed off the people, went by our names. I try to get everyone to be like after someone says hello, everyone else says hello. Apparently that's like what an Alcoholics Anonymous do. I don't really care. I feel like it's more welcoming that way if everyone's like, hey, welcome. Instead of just, hi, my name's Tyler. And no one responds. Like, I'm not listening to that. And so after introducing each other, there's this amazing guy. We'll call him Jeans. And so I know Jeans, and Jeans is not afraid like me of social situations. And so I'm like, Jeans, take it off. And he does a great job introduction, like just talking and getting a conversation going. Well, it was more one-sided, but I have mad respect for the guy. He basically shared his testimony, which was the goal of at least the first question, is to share a little bit of our testimony. And then eventually I was like, okay, Jeans, I want to add on to that. And then I added a little bit, and then I opened it up to the group. I said, okay, group, let's just tell stories, because stories are awesome. That's what I do here on the channel. And no one responded. No one wanted to listen to my stories, or no one wanted to tell any stories, except one girl. We'll call her Bracelet. W Bracelet, bro. Bracelet, if you're watching this, mad respect for you, because she opened up. She told her story next. I was like, thank you, bro. Thank you. Because I'm sitting here in a group of 9 and I'm doing my best to get people talking. And I didn't really feel like really pushing it. I was just going to let whatever happened. In the past, I might have been like, now you share, now you share, now you share. I wasn't in the mood. Let me just say that. And so she shares a little bit. Then I allow her to be quiet, and I'm comfortable with silence, but I'm like, okay, no one else is going to talk. Let me just pick up and say something. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I tell my story. I make eye contact with people, so they're listening, bro. I know you guys are listening. And they don't they listen at least. And then eventually it goes back to Bracelet, and then I speak a little bit, and then Jeans ends it off. And that was the hour-long conversation. 3 people talked. 1 includes me, so technically 2 people talked. But the good news is, and the fun part of the story, is that in the end, after everyone scattered off to their classes, to their dorms, to doom scrolling, wherever they went, 3 of us remained. It was me, Jeans, and we'll call someone else. We'll call her Hairspray. And us three, we stayed for a little bit, and Hairspray told Jeans, was like, hey, I just went through a similar situation as you. And then Jeans was like, yo, I'm so glad. And I'm like, also, I went through a similar situation as you. I actually talked about that in the group. But we just began sharing across our similar situation, which was like a vulnerable one, something that was really personal to us. And that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't vulnerable, or if Jeans wasn't vulnerable, or if Bracelet wasn't, or not Jeans. Jeans left for a photo shoot. But Bracelet, if she wasn't vulnerable, or if Hairspray, if she wasn't open to being vulnerable. And I think that's kind of the problem with a lot of conversations today, is that we're too afraid of being judged, or what if that person doesn't like me anymore, which I guess is part of being judged, that we don't even take the attempt to open up, which is such a shame, because you'd be surprised. Like, a lot of people are willing to listen to you, and a lot of people share similar experiences to you, but you can't really relate to that, or they won't really ever find out unless you actually tell them. So I commend you maybe today. Like, a lot of people are like, I could share online and be vulnerable here. And I'm vulnerable here as well, or I try to be. I mean, there's some stuff that I'm just going to keep personal just because that's personal. One day maybe. DM me, we can talk in person. But I'm saying you need to go out there. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be judged. Don't be afraid to be weird. Being weird is underrated. So I hope you learned at least one thing today. I give you blessings, I guess, and have an amazing rest of your day. Godspeed.